What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Fantasy Alarm live stream, the best ball live stream here. I'm Howard Bender. With me this time around, we got Matt Selz. Look at you in your Yankees gear, baby. Come on. Come on. Happy baseball day, Matt.
Yeah, I'm very excited after the emotional and psychological roller coaster we've been through for like the last, 6 months. That's what the last 2 days have felt like. And I had this gear on Tuesday when it looked like a deal was going to happen. And then I wore it again on Wednesday because I thought it was good superstition. And then the deal fell apart. So I didn't wear it for most of today. And then once the deal happened, I was like, okay, it's safe to put it back on. So I made the sacrifice for us so we would get baseball.
You know what? And I appreciate that. I appreciate you making that sacrifice, Matt, because it's what we need. We need more guys who are in it for everybody else instead of, just themselves. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. We're excited about this. Obviously, MLB lockout has officially come to an end. Free agency. Well, we're about an hour and a half into free agency. How, Matt, we haven't seen any kind of a deal yet is really beyond me, though, right? I mean, you would think that all the GMs would be 100% ready to go with all of their offers as soon as the lockout was done.
So I saw some stuff floating around Twitter that it might take like 24 to 48 hours for deals to trickle in because teams weren't supposed to be talking to players and agents during the lockout, right? So if they sign guys immediately, then everybody knows, oh, hey, they had these deals figured out. So if the deal is figured out, but they let it go and takes 24 hours for it to leak out, it seems like it took some time to sort out, right? So I could kind of believe that we're going to see a flurry of stuff start coming out like tomorrow about lunchtime or so.
You know what? I mean, listen, Bowden said the exact same thing to me, Jim Bowden, Fantasy Alarm Show. We're about, just so you guys know, we are doing this. It's RTSports.com is the, you got the draft board behind us. This draft is starting in 7 seconds right now. So we're going to be doing that draft. We're going to be talking our way through each of our picks. And then we're going to give you obviously some other thoughts, about baseball starting. So, but yeah, Jim, I said to Jim, I'm like, if you were a GM still right now, wouldn't you have all of your offers ready? Like, wouldn't you just want to send them out to the agents like immediately and just be like, boom, let me get it done. First offer in, let's have the conversation and get the ball rolling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they have offers in. I know we saw some leak out before, like the Rays had been in contact with Freddie Freeman before the lockout. We've seen teams be in contact with players before the lockout. The Yankees apparently got info on 3 big free agents before the lockout. I think it was Correa, Rodon, and somebody else that they got info about so that they would be prepared to make. Might have been Kikuchi. Did you say Kikuchi? I think. But I don't know if we're going to actually see any full deals get announced until like tomorrow afternoon, especially since a lot of the guys that are left had several teams interested, like Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa. Kershaw is going to draw quite a bit of interest. So it might be a little bit before we hear stuff roll in.
Yeah, I mean, you got to expect that, everybody's going to continue to do their due diligence. I feel like a lot of this work could be done beforehand. And listen, I'm sure there's under the table conversations happening at some point or another. But yeah, I mean, listen, as long as it's getting underway right now, it's all that matters to me. It's all that matters to me is getting it underway and figuring some stuff out. So here we go. Fernando Tatis off the board first. We got our first auto pick. Because apparently Bull Rider is he's obviously working off of his queue, but he's not here in the draft room. So we'll see what happens there. Juan Soto, you're on the clock, Matt. Talk us through it.
So I was looking at Juan Soto. Obviously, he just went. But now I'm going to take myself some Trey Turner here. It's pretty hard to turn down Trey Turner at 4th overall. Guy's got power and speed, and he's in one of the best lineups in baseball and one of the best hitter parks in baseball. So I'm going to take myself some Trey Turner because he's also a former Nat, and I've seen him play in person. Dude does everything very, very well.
Now, these the scoring here is it's a points league best ball, so keep that in mind as well when we're making our picks. Walker Bueller just came off the board fifth. I mean, listen, if you're if you're looking at this, the way the negative scoring happens for like runs allowed and walks and stuff, that like a lot of people who do these invest heavily in the top starting pitching, and they go very pitching heavy first, and then they come back to the bats. The speed issue there, that's the thing for me. It's like, if I don't get my stolen bases in the early rounds of the draft, like, where am I going to get it? I mean, I could do like, if for the guy who took Juan Soto, yeah, you want to grab like a Tim Anderson or even like a Miles Straw, and you go from there. I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna do a move that I haven't done in the best ball yet, because I haven't had him like the ability to grab him yet. So gonna grab my stolen bases here. I'm gonna grab my Bo Bichette, and I'm gonna think about how much fun it must be to brush his hair.
He does have some luscious locks.
Really does, right? I mean, I'm jealous. I'm like, oh, this looks terrible compared to the hair of Bichette.
I mean, Dante had a pretty decent head of lettuce in his playing days, if I recall correctly. So yeah, I mean, so now we see Garrett Cole go right after Bichette. So there's arguably the two top starting pitchers off the board, depending on who you look at. Obviously, Corbin Burns is in that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So is, the next four guys in the queue right now are Burns, Jacob deGrom, Scherzer, and Brandon Woodruff. So it appears we're going to be set up for a pitching run. I just wanted to, if Trey Turner hadn't been there, I probably would have gone Cole or Burns, but that power speed combination to set your team up is just too hard to turn down in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll see what happens. I don't know if anybody who's in the draft room here is actually watching the broadcast as well. So I don't want to, give stuff away, but you just saw Burns go off the board here. What we're gonna see, because we do have if you looked at the teams who are in this draft, if you see like somebody's got like a green circle next to their name, somebody's got a diamond next to their, it's we've got a number of experienced players from RT Sports in here, and because it's a points league and because of the way that value the starting pitching is valued, you're exactly right. Here you go, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns. On the turn they go Scherzer, Wheeler. And so now the question is what do these other two teams do? Do they continue with their pitching runs? No, we see a little Bryce Harper. Does it burn you as a Nats fan to see Bryce Harper win the MVP as a Philly?
No, because he won one as a Nat too.
Oh.
And his first year when he signed with Philly, he said he would bring a title to DC, and it came to fruition. So no, I don't. I don't mind it. I mean, he went where he got.
You're good. Like, okay, bye-bye.
I mean, I don't know why you would choose to live basically most of your career in Philadelphia, but that's just me. Not a fan of the city.
All right, so here's the question, man. Do I go on that pitching run and make sure I get my guys? When you see guys like Acuna and Trout still sitting there on the board, Lewis Robert, Kyle Tucker. I mean, you're really, it's a crazy moment in this draft, but 10 teams, the elite starting pitching is flying off the boards. I think I can jump in with one guy here and grab me some Woodruff.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same. I mean, it's 10 teams, hitters are going to be there. Starting pitching tends to thin up pretty quickly at this point, because it's hard to trust a lot of guys past ace caliber. So with that being said, since I am on the clock and Ronald Acuna and Mike Trout just went, I'm going to go with, I'll go with Shane Bieber of the Guardians. Get myself the first starter there. I was thinking about Julio Urias, but it's really hard for me to trust anything that Dave Roberts does with his pitching staff.
Right, you like innings pitched is counted here. So
yeah, like the guy won 20 games, but like he's still in top like 150 innings last year. So he's very good. but I'm concerned about the innings. And then there's kind of a fall off with other guys I can trust. So I got to go with Bieber or the Guardians.
Yeah, it's understandable. I feel like I caught a break there with Woodruff being available to me. You know, I mean, especially when you see so after Bichette, obviously, I mean, look at that. 5 of the next 6 picks are all starting pitchers, and the guys who are in the draft, I believe, who both went pitcher, are guys who have considered some of the top players on RT Sports. So
hard to decide which is a better combo between Cole and DeGrom or Scherzer and Wheeler. It all comes down to how many innings is DeGrom going to pitch, right? Because if he does a full workload, there's nobody that's beating Cole and DeGrom.
Right.
But if he doesn't, then Scherzer Wheeler is pretty good.
They eat innings for sure.
Wheeler was the ace of that. I mean, he outproduced Nola last year.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you're right. With a full workload, DeGrom, Cole definitely beats out Scherzer. Well, I mean, let's face facts. We don't know because maybe Garrett Cole gets hurt. Maybe Scherzer, runs out of gas. I mean, there's so many different things. Like, how many times have we been like, oh, this guy's fantastic, right? Just threw 180 innings, sub 3 ERA. I'm loving it. And then the guy like craps the bed the next year.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. Also, Scherzer got himself a big deal, right? Like, I worry less about that with a guy like Scherzer, but he also was just super tenacious in the negotiations, according to the owners who were scared of him, apparently. So we'll see. But we got some Mookie Betts going in the 3rd round here.
I know, right? I'm looking at it. I'm like, which way are you going to go? Are you going to jump on this? Are you going to stay on the pitching train? Or are you running?
That's a really good question. Oh God. Okay, I'm going to take Kyle Tucker. I have a thing for Kyle Tucker. I really, really like him. I think he's one of, if not the most underrated bat in the majors right now. Guy could easily do 30-30. The Astros lineup is still pretty good, even if they don't get Correa back. So I kind of have to go with the speed again. And just, now I'm up to about 60 stolen bases. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm debating because, listen, the pitchers who are on the board right now, I mean, all right, so Nola just went off the board. So I'm looking at it here, and I've got 2 guys behind me who are pitcher heavy. So the question is do they continue to be pitcher heavy, and therefore I go after a pitcher? But I got to tell you, of the guys who are sitting out there right now, there's nobody who's really, jumping out at me enough. Like, I think Robbie Ray regresses. I do like Max Fried. I do like Jose
Freddie
Barrios.
Peralta.
What's that?
Freddie Peralta just went.
Yeah, I know, right? Saved me from stacking Brewers, huh?
Yeah. Talk about a team you can't trust the innings work from.
Unbelievable. All right, so you know what then? I'm going to, since I don't really dig the pitchers who are there, and I feel like there are a number of guys, a little further down that I can look at, I'm going to lock in stolen bases with Lewis Robert.
There you go.
Get myself a Bichette and Lewis Robert. Attack stolen bases like that. I've got Woodruff coming back around again. If I want to go with with another pitcher, I think I'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not. There's a couple of guys that pique my interest right now in pitching, but not. I think they might be there in another round or so. So I had to go with the bats to just keep, building those points.
So I don't know everybody who's in the draft room right now. I want to give a shout out though. Andrew Dewhurst, obviously from Fantasy Alarm. Mark Goodman is a proud card carrying member of FA Nation.
He's also in my home league, by the way. My 21
so he's doing some recon work here, huh?
In my 21 team home league, yes.
He's checking out who the salesman likes.
Yeah, it's not directly comparable because our home league's twice as big as this one and it's an auction. But yeah, it's
21 team auction.
I can tell you that the Mike Trout pick from him was not that surprising because he's his team name in our league is Halo Fan. So clearly he's an Angels fan. So unfortunately for him, he did spend a bunch of money on Mike Trout last year, and then Trout played the fewest games he's played in like his entire career. So that was
a bit of a bummer on that one there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but good news is Trout is apparently healthy, which 9 months off from playing baseball should make you pretty healthy. So
you would think, I mean, listen, nothing would make me smile more seriously than seeing Mike Trout like start stealing bases really early on in the season. I mean, like aggressively steal bases to the point that everybody who let him slip into the second round because he doesn't steal bases, like immediately regrets that information.
Speaking of stolen bases, Whit Merrifield just went off the board in the 4th round.
I know, right? I just can't get behind that one either.
Yeah, the other guy on the turn, by the way, who I'm pretty sure that guy, who did he double tap in the guy who went Scherzer Wheeler just went Salvi Perez and Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
I had the option to keep Marcus Semien in my home league, and I just couldn't get behind it because there's no way he's doing 40 something home runs again in Texas. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Who are you looking at now that Robbie Ray just went off?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I'm looking at the pictures and I'm not enamored again. So yeah, I'm running out of time here. So let's just go to the old standby, old Mr. Reliable. Hopefully soon to be the Yankees first baseman if they don't sign Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson.
Oh, you are a sucker for Matt Olson.
I love me some Matt Olson, man. I do. I just he doesn't finish this season with Oakland. I don't even know if he starts the season with Oakland. Everybody's looking at Matt Olson, and you know that Billy Beane is just like ready to start wheeling and dealing here.
Yeah. I saw a Twitter poll from somebody that was like, who's the first teams to make a move? The A's and the Mariners or the other 28 teams? And like 70% said A's and Mariners. Like Jerry DePoto's had somebody on speed dial the entire lockout, right? Like,
dude, I love Jerry DePoto, man. I love the aggressiveness. I really do. They're talking about Chris Bryant landing in Seattle.
Yeah.
All right, who you going? Who you taking? Are you taking a pitcher?
I am actually going to take a pitcher now. I'm going to go with Jack Flaherty here.
Expecting the bounce back.
I like what I saw from him coming back. The tail end of it looked better. I still believe in the stuff. Before he was injured, he was very, very good. So I'm going to take Jack Flaherty as a guy who I think could be an ace caliber, an SP1 option in fantasy baseball if it pans out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I've always been a big Jack Flaherty fan. The struggles that he had were definitely disappointing. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to like coming back around here now. Not to give it all away, but I'm gonna probably have to go back and attack pitching again.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a run going here with Sale and Webb coming off the board.
Does two players constitute a run?
I said a little bit.
Let's see what Joe Bradshaw. I don't know Joe Bradshaw either. I don't know who he is, but shout out to Joe Bradshaw. And on the other side, Nick Napachek. He actually won a spot in this league on the radio the other day. Excuse me, called up and trying to remember what story he was sharing with us. All blends together. No offense, Nick. Right? I'm like, I don't remember what I asked, but somebody called in. His name was Nick, and he had a great story, and it always helps like that, right?
I mean, I'm guessing when you do radio 5 days a week, a lot of stuff blends together.
You know what? Really? Alek Manoah off the board.
Yeah. He's a big riser right now. A lot of
people love him, dude.
People are very high on Alek Manoah. Like, they're as warm on him as burning couches in West Virginia. Like, because that's where he played college ball, and they like to burn couches before football games, if you didn't know. I
I
don't know
did know.
why.
Boy, you are a plethora of information here, aren't you?
Well, I went to the school in the Big 12, so I would know that. Yeah. Real Muto went off the board.
So what are you looking at now? You got two pitchers, two hitters. You've got power. You've got some speed too.
I do. Geez, I got an interesting set of guys here. There's a lot of pitchers on the board right now. So I'm gonna go with a hitter right now, and I'm gonna go take Aaron Judge and hope that the guy can stay healthy and just give me like 35 or 40 bombs.
Right. It's crazy that it doesn't stay healthy. Absolutely insane.
I mean, he's 6'7", right? Something like that. He's pretty tall.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, didn't Joey Gallo have a quote how he hated playing with the Yankees because he felt like the small guy in the outfield?
Yeah. Joey. All right. So here you go. Barrios and Musgrove off the board as I'm looking at some pitching. I gotta tell you, I mean, he's not a big strikeout guy, but I love what Max Fried brings to the table, though. I think I'm gonna have to go for somebody though who strikes out batters. I don't love Gossman. I really don't. I could just go. Let me go. I'm just going to go safe here, and I'm going to go with Lance Lynn, right? Nice innings eater, good strikeout numbers, good ratios. He's not going to get beaten up a ton. He gives me a nice number 2 spot because if I come back again with another pitcher who I'm looking at, I think I'll be in a good spot.
Agreed. He's a very solid guy, and also in build, but also in fantasy. What do you think about Barrios in the AL East?
It's a tougher division. The parks are definitely much more hitter friendly. I still think though he's got good enough stuff that we're not going to see like him get completely lit up. Like I'm terrified of Kevin Gossman. Terrified of
well,
Gossman.
we saw that once in Baltimore. It did not go well.
Right? So Gossman in Toronto scares the crap out of me. Barrios in Toronto, it doesn't freak me out as much. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got a little taste of it last year when after the trade deadline, he was pretty good. He was never really a lockdown dude in Minnesota though either. So
no, he's like, I mean, it's crazy. He's your boring innings eater.
Yeah, he puts up like a 3.80 ERA, strikes out a pretty decent amount of dudes, and he'll pitch you 180 to 200 innings basically every year. So Nolan Arenado, Teoscar Hernandez. That's a nice pick.
So as we're approaching this here, and I'm probably like I said, I'm leaning towards grabbing another pitcher in this spot. The question is though, starter versus closer. Like, how do you feel about closers going as early as they're going right now? Throughout the I'd say throughout like the top 10 closers, 8 to 10 closers, they're all off the board by like the 7th inning.
So I have a differing view on closers than just about everybody else seems to right now in fantasy baseball. And obviously it's going to change based on points or roto leagues, right? If you're in a roto league, I think it's perfectly okay to basically punt saves and go find guys late in drafts who may pick up saves late in the year. I do it all the time in my home league. For example, I got Ian Kennedy last year in the very last round of my league's taxi draft, which is like how we fill our bench. I got him in the very last round. He wound up obviously being the closer for the Rangers and then got moved to Philly. But in points leagues, I can understand them going higher because the saves have equal value to wins, and you're going to get multiple saves a week versus only potentially one win a week. So in a points league, I don't necessarily have a problem with it for guys like Liam Hendricks and Hader and
and who?
Josh Hader.
Him. He's pretty good.
Some Will Smith, I guess, in Atlanta. But in general, in a roto league, I'm not the biggest fan of going all out for essentially a one category guy, right? They help a little bit in ERA and WHIP, but they don't do as many innings, so it doesn't help you as much. And I feel like the strikeouts can be made up with starters. So
yeah, well, one of the reasons why I like a guy like Hader, and yeah, I agree with you completely. In a just a regular roto league where I've got waivers and free agency and trading is allowed, then yeah, I'm in on that. Oh, it's up to you right now. Where are you going? Let me look at your board here. Turner, Bieber, Tucker, Flaherty, Judge.
I'm going with a guy that I just traded in my keeper league because I only have 1 year.
You know what? I was going to take him or Hader. It was down to those two.
He has way too much strikeout upside for me to pass up in the 6th round right now.
How pissed would you have been if I had taken Dylan Cease?
I mean, I would have been upset, but I could have finagled around it a little bit. But
you wouldn't have thrown a fit. You wouldn't have like said a bad word or anything like that.
No, not particularly. Boy, we're moving here. We got Castellanos, Will Smith. I'm not sure if that's the catcher or the reliever.
That is the catcher.
The catcher, Verlander and Trevor Rogers.
Look at that! Look at that!
That's a nice getting of starters on the turn there with Verlander and Rogers.
Sure.
But yeah, I just traded Cease actually in my home league because I only have 1 year. This was the last year I could keep him, so I traded him for 1 year of Teoscar Hernandez and like 3 years of Jarren Duran. So I can't really pass up that value there.
I understand,
but I do like Cease in this format with all those strikeouts.
I do too. That's why I was eyeballing him. I was like, I was looking at him and Lance Lynn, and I was like, well, let me grab Lynn here and then come back around the other side. And I was like, man, Hader's still there. Yeah, I don't completely buy into it. Oh, where are you going here? Ooh, it's Europe. Oh, Shane McClanahan. So this dude, Bull Rider, keeps pulling in all my pitchers. I was hoping for McClanahan to slip back to me. Shoot.
I'm very torn right now between, I'm going to go with the upside here, and I'm going to go with the Wonderkind Wander Franco.
Okay.
Get a little bit of, because I have Trey Turner who can move to second or short. Now I got Wander Franco at short. I was kind of between Jose Altuve, Brandon Lau, and Wander Franco. And the upside for the combination of power speed with Wander Franco is better than the other two guys. So I went with Franco.
I gotcha. All right. So I'm sitting on two starters. I got closer there. We got first base. I got outfield. I got shortstop. What am I looking at next? I've got the speed, right? Little power. You know what I'm going to do? Oh, yeah. I mean, I want to do it, but I you know what? I just don't think it's the right move for me. I don't think it's the right move for me, but I want to just do it. Should I do it? I'm going to do it. I have no, like, I haven't been into him at all. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I see who I want. There we go. Whew. Now, how is going to let Eloy Jimenez pass by? Like, everybody's like, oh, well, you only hit 12 home runs, you hit 243. Like, the dude tore his pec, right? The dude tore his pec, was supposed to be out for the whole season.
Yeah.
And he comes back in July.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I tend to be lower on Eloy Jimenez than most people, though, but not much lower. I think this is good value in the 7th. I do. Had he gone around sooner, I probably would have been a little shyer on him. But yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm with you. He did. Everybody goes, well, he didn't hit that well in 2020. Okay, but that was nobody hit well in 2020. That was a super weird year.
Right.
2021, the dude basically almost left his entire shoulder on the other side of the fence, and then came back like 3 months later. So
it was crazy. I cut him. So in Tout Wars, we get a rebate, right? You guys out for the season, you can cut him off of your roster, and you get back that money that you spent in the draft. You get that back in Fab, right? So it's a nice little deal to help kind of keep you going. That if you get screwed on a season-ending injury. So I was like middle of the pack, and injuries were piling up, and Eloy was he was like sitting there, and I had to use Fab to like recover in other places. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. And I cut him thinking, he's going to be out for the season. I'm not too worried about it. Well, guess what? All right. I'm going for, now this might screw me here just because it's probably a reach of a round or two at this point. And, I have no idea what his innings are going to look like this year because of the way the Rays are. But how do you not love the upside of Shane Baz?
I think actually the lockout, well, now that it's over, not necessarily, but like, I think it's actually helped him a little bit because in terms of innings jump, like he can actually now theoretically come up a little sooner than we might have thought.
Right.
Because of the way the schedule is going to run, and he can still play. He was going to get a break from doing minors because the guys on the 40-man roster weren't going to be able to play in the minor leagues, even though the minors were still happening. So yeah, I think Shane Baz has a very high ceiling this year. Third piece in the ill-fated Chris Archer deal, by the way. So that thing is still coming back to bite the Pirates pretty badly there.
And the Pirates do it to themselves, for crying out loud.
Ooh, so I'm on the clock. Francisco Lindor, George Springer just went. I'm going to go with, and this is, I'm going to go with Starling Marte.
Boost your speed a little bit there, huh?
Yeah, I don't even mind if he doesn't steal like 47 bags. I don't really need him to. A little bit more pop would be nice. And in that lineup, he's going to score a boatload of runs. So it's pretty hard to turn down Starling Marte right now in the middle of the 8th round.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look at the pitching here. Look at this dude right next to me, right? How much can you? Cole, DeGrom, Robbie Ray, Ohtani, Yu Darvish, Luis Castillo. I mean, he's all loaded up there. His bats are definitely going to be a little lighter, but for the same token, it is a points league, and if your value there is the pitching, then you kind of have to hit it. It's why I'm still sitting there. I'm like, I've got 3 starters and a closer through 8 rounds. I don't think I ever take this much pitching outside of the points leagues. Bull Riders doing the same thing on your side of the fence too.
Yeah, he's Ranger Suarez right after Tyler Mahle. By the way, nice get of Cedric Mullins there, the last of the 8th round. So where am I going now? I feel like I need pitching. I'm going to take a risk on a guy who's a free agent at the moment. And I'm going to take Clayton Kershaw.
Interesting.
Because I don't see him being a free agent much longer. What we saw from him last year was about what we've seen from him for the last 3 years. He's still very good. He's still striking out guys. And by the way, if he does sign with his hometown Rangers, he gets a boost in pitching. Like the Rangers pitching situation is better than pitching at Dodger Stadium. So I'm going to take a shot on Clayton Kershaw here. Obviously, don't trust Blake Snell at all.
Right.
Lance McCullers is still hurt. He's there. Bassett, I have him in my home league, but right now in a points league, I don't know that he strikes out enough dudes right now to take him this high in a points league, as he just went off the board to the guy in my home league. So yeah, I kind of feel like taking the risk on Kershaw is worth it.
Yeah, until he signs with Colorado.
I don't think he's signing with Colorado.
All right, so I'm going to go with a guy at mid-level strikeouts, but I feel like he's got a whole other gear on the mound, and I'm not worried about any kind of a World Series hangover. I'm going to stick with Ian Anderson and keep hammering this pitching with these other teams.
Yeah, that's a nice. I was between him and Kershaw, and I went. I like my lefties because I am one. So I'm going to go with Kershaw, my favorite left-handed pitcher of all time.
All right. Now the question is where does, because that's a pitching run right there, right? Kershaw, Snell, Bassett, Ian Anderson. So now he's going back to his offense that he's going to fill out. I mean, listen, for seven pitchers that you're starting, right? He's got 6 rock solid for a best ball points league right now. He definitely needs to kind of boost that offense there. Chris Bryant should be interesting, although I hear Chris Bryant might end up in Seattle. So
yeah, which is not good for offense.
It's not good for offense. It's not good for offense, but we'll see. I'm so excited about all the free agents now. We're Yankees fans. Like, what do we? I mean, I'm dreaming of like Freddie Freeman and Carlos Correa, willing to accept Anthony Rizzo and Carlos Correa. Wouldn't also mind a nice trade for Matt Olson.
See, I'd rather sign Rizzo since we traded for him in the middle of last year. You already gave up a little bit to get him in the first place.
Who cares? It's a rental. These are the Yankees. Who cares about that?
But he also did very, very well in New York. And while Freddie Freeman is great, he's still kind of unproven in a huge market. So I'd take Rizzo. They're basically the same age, so it's not like a question of age. They were born within like 6 weeks of each other.
I secretly want Matt Olson. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know that it's secret. Really, I think it's the worst kept secret in baseball. So much so I'm pretty sure Olson just filed a restraining order against you. But yeah, I mean, clearly I'd like to see the Yankees address starting pitching too, as is always a problem with the Yankees. They, at least one more starter would be nice to go get there. But I don't know if they get Correa might be the only piece the Yankees get. But I would take Correa.
I mean, I'll definitely take Correa. I'll be happy with that. I just, I feel like we need I think we need the 2 bats. I think we definitely, and I'd be okay. I'd be fine with re-signing Rizzo and doing that. I'm not against that. I don't, it's not what totally floats my boat, but it does okay for me. All right, where am I going here? Where am I going? I need second. I need third. Good players all around. I could use help behind the plate. Ugh, look, there's Byron Buxton. Yuck.
Kobe and I had a whole discussion on Byron Buxton in this week's MLB or Fantasy Baseball podcast.
All right, I'm just gonna go Seager, get my shortstop. Oh shit! I had Bichette already. What was I thinking?
Yeah,
all right, I filled up my utility spot. So much for that late round Seth Beer pick.
Ooh. Trevor Bauer just went off. Jeez.
Damn, that was a bad move by my part. I gotta start paying attention. People need to stop texting me.
All right, I'm gonna fill up a little bit of pitching here, and I'm gonna go with Framber Valdez. I just like what he brings on the mound, and he's got a spot locked into that Astros rotation, and he's a pretty good strikeout guy when we've seen him on the mound as well. So I'm gonna get another starter with Framber Valdez here.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like that pick for sure. For sure. Ah, damn, I'm so mad at myself now for grabbing Seager like that. It's so like this is the problem with like being distracted and doing, because I've got like 3-4 other best balls going at the same time right now. So all my notifications are just popping from RTSports. I need to rein it in, right? I think I have a best ball problem, Matt.
A little bit, but I mean it's like, it's fine. It's like a romp appeal draft. You set it and you forget it.
You set it and you forget it. A Ron Popeil draft. Ron Popeil is a genius. A man is a genius, for crying out loud.
Make a pretty good rotisserie chicken too.
Man, I'm starving, dude. We can't talk about food. We can't talk because all I'm thinking about now is eating. I had like a little snack between this draft and the show, but I'm like dying now. I'm withering away to nothing, Matt. I'm withering away. My body might start to eat itself, which I don't know. Maybe that's like a good weight loss program.
It's possible. It's possible. So I'm on the clock here. I'm gonna go with a little bit of a off the wall pick here, and I'm gonna go with Eduardo Rodriguez.
Eduardo Rodriguez. All right, strikeouts.
And he's
we
out
we
of
had
the
this.
AL East.
Yeah.
He's now in Detroit, which is about as good of a pitching park as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of run support, but they're willing to spend. So we'll see what they do in free agency here. And he looked like an ace for the Red Sox when he was healthy and for stretches there. So, at this point in the draft, I feel like it's worth the risk for a sixth pitcher with strikeouts. I'll take the ramifications with the ratios, which doesn't really kill you in a points league.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go back to pitching right now. I'm actually gonna do this because again, it's best ball. I'm gonna grab Emmanuel Clase.
Nice.
Just pair them up. I got two closers now in Hader and Clase. They both have good strikeout numbers. They're both going to throw some decent innings. They'll keep their ratios in check, and yeah, for a points league, it's nice to have. So, I mean, listen, if one of them gets hurt, then it's kind of a wasted pick, obviously. But I mean, it's the 11th round here. I mean, might as well just kind of do that. I'm still looking at pitching though. Like that's the worst thing right now is like I'm like addicted to grabbing more pitching.
Yeah, because in a 10-team league, there's just such a bevy of bats. I mean, for God's sakes, we're in the middle of the 11th round. Carlos Correa just went off the board. Randy Arozarena went off the board.
Yeah, well, that's what
I'm
happens
sure why
when everybody.
Andrew Heaney went off the board before Eduardo Rodriguez, but okay.
That's what happens when you load up, baby. You're loading up on the arms. Look at them every round. I think every round there's been multiple pitchers, right? There's not a single round that's gone by where we haven't seen multiple pitchers off the board. Listen, again, you got to let the format of the game dictate how you're going to draft. You really do. You can't sit there and just say, I mean, in many cases, I'm all bats, right? I won't take a pitcher until like the 7th or 8th inning. Or 7th or 8th round, but when it comes to this and the way the format is all set up, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, obviously this is a one catcher league, so we haven't seen a whole lot of catchers come off the board. Right. And again, it's also a 10-teamer, so that hitting is going to be there. Like you're not going to run out of hitting. It's
no. I mean, you do have to, there are some who talk about position scarcity and, figure out how to, deal with that and whether or not, you want to jump into the third base fray, early and do that. I was looking at some third basemen here, but I see Rendon on the board. You still have Moncada, Chapman, Brian Hayes. So I mean, there's a number of third basemen who are out there.
Alberto Mondesi.
Yeah, I've got enough speed. I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do the bounce back candidate here, and go with Rendon and just lock down my hot corner and taking care of that.
All right. I mean, for Angels fans, I hope they get to see Rendon play because when he's healthy and he's playing, he's very entertaining to watch at the hot corner. He's very good defensively, very good bat. So I hope that they get to see him stay healthy, and it's not another wasted $100+ million contract for them. Ooh, Marcus Stroman, nice pick. Buxton in the 12th round. If you get 100 games out of him, congratulations.
What are the odds on Buxton playing 100 games this year?
Pretty low. Okay, I'm gonna go with a guy that I honestly can't figure out.
Son of a bitch, Dewhurst. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, Clevenger. Yeah, I'm gonna take Dalton Varsho because he's a catcher and an outfielder, and he's gonna put up a reasonable power speed combo with a decent batting average. And he's a catcher and an outfielder, so that's a combination that doesn't come along very often unless you're like early Craig Biggio.
I have to send a hateful message over to Dewhurst right now.
It's about to fire a Canadian.
Right.
Be very mean about it.
Just ruin my day here. Just ruin. You know what? Because like that's the thing is that I was debating between Clevenger and Rendon, and I'm like, Clevenger, he's kind of down in the queue a little bit, right? So I thought maybe he'd come back. Oh, Logan Gilbert just went too.
Yep.
Bull crap rider. Come on. Now I'm just depressed. Oh, the message here I get from Dewhurst. Nothing brings a smile to my face quite like son of a bitch, Dewhurst. Just ruined my day. Ruined it. Ruined it. Well, the whole thing. All right. So talk us through your pick here, and then I'll talk Clevenger for a second.
So now I need a closer because I got one pitching spot left on my active roster here. I don't have any saves. So I was between Chapman and Edwin Diaz, and clearly Carolina just made the pick for me because they went, I should say, Chapman. So I'm going to go with Edwin Diaz. He had a nice year in 2021. I think he's going to have plenty of opportunities to save games, and he's a pretty good strikeout closer. So I'll take the one closer that I want to get here on my starting lineup and go with Edwin Diaz.
Great. So sad right now. Oh, look, and he just took Jonathan India. You gotta be kidding me with this dude, right? So, the whole thing, what I was loving on with
Sonny Gray.
Oh, screw Sonny Gray. I'm just gonna go homer pick and take Severino and hope he bounces back.
There you go.
So when you look at like player movement and this and that, one of probably the most unheralded moves that happened in baseball that nobody's mentioned or they aren't really talking about was the assistant pitching coach for Cleveland. I don't remember his first name. His last name is Niebla, right? He's been the assistant pitching coach in Cleveland for the last 21 years, right? He's like one of the guys who's like, he's like super close with Clevenger. They worked, they worked real close together when Clevenger was with the Tribe. So, well, now the Guardians, the Guardians, that one's going to be real easy for me to do. That the Washington football team and the Commanders all in one fell swoop. So I'm screwed there. But nevertheless, Niebla being in San Diego now, hired by the Padres, for Clevenger's comeback year, I'm all in on something like that. They're trying to do things to make him as comfortable as he is. And I like that move. I really like that move. And I think that's kind of something flying under the radar.
I would agree. I mean, obviously it's very hard to you got to go digging for assistant pitching coach moves here, but San Diego, to be honest, needs everything they can get from Clevenger because that rotation is not very good right now. I don't know if anybody's checked it out, but aside from Yu Darvish, who wasn't even that good last year, it's not very good. It's not very deep either. So they need everything they can get from Clevenger coming back. But there are some interesting bats still hanging around.
There are a lot of interesting players hanging around all over the place here right now. I mean, I'm looking at a couple of starting pitchers that kind of, piqued my curiosity. There are still some closers out there who are still pretty interesting, but
one of 4 Luis Garcias is available.
One of 4 Luis Garcias. Which one? What position?
The pitcher.
Oh, there are 2 pitchers, and then there's a third baseman. I think there's an outfielder.
There's a third baseman for the Nats, and then the Phillies, by the way, have a Luis Garcia who plays shortstop who's coming up in their system. So now there'll be 2 infielders in the same division.
Right? You should just build an entire team of Luis Garcias.
You probably could pretty soon.
It could be done.
But
it could be done.
So at this point in a draft, I actually like to focus on guys that are multi-positional as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
Just to get the versatility here. Hey, speak of the devil, Luis Garcia went off the board. Which one? I'm assuming it's the pitcher from Houston.
I don't know who that was. Oh, Rodon just came off the board. I was wondering who was gonna, buy into
John.
those. All right, so I'm gonna go lock it down behind the plate. This is a guy who I was trying to save some bid money for in the labor NL only auction, but I came out too strong, and then I got caught price enforcing on another guy, and so I'm gonna grab him here while I can, and that is my work behind the plate, my friend. Give me some Tyler Stevenson.
That guy is a very good up and coming catcher.
Yep.
And he's going to hit a bunch of bombs in Great American Small Park.
Qualifies at first base also. So if I have an injury, or Matt Olson has a day off and Tyler Stevenson's there, maybe I get that. That's if I grab another catcher. What's your thought process here on grabbing backups for your offensive players? Do you have a specific strategy?
I mean, obviously for catcher, I like to grab one catcher just because they tend to get a little bit banged up more often than others. But outside of that, I'm going to look for guys that can fill multiple spots at the same time. Just makes it easier to have, especially if you have a shallow bench. You can still fill a few different spots at the same time. With this one, speaking of that, I'm going to take Eduardo Escobar here.
Because he'll fill second, third eligibility.
And as much as I hate to admit it, I like what the Mets are doing with their lineup at this point. So I was between him and another guy, and I'll go this guy because he's on a team currently and has one more position he fills for me. So but yeah, in terms of like bench guys, I like to get guys that are going to play a couple of different positions in the infield, because then I don't have to have like a second baseman and a shortstop backup. I can have just one guy, and if one of them goes out, you can plug and play. Yeah. And the other guy I was going to take just went off the board to running rebel at Kyle Schwarber. Who's desperately hoping he signs with Colorado, because four bombs in Coors is going to be
Coors insane. Would be crazy, right? I have one guy who I want with my next pick. So I'm not worried about you whether or not you're going to take him, but Dewhurst is going to be coming up, and if Dewhurst takes another one of my guys, I might end up like killing a Canadian. Let's see what happens. Right, Christian Yelich. If the back holds up, that's the greatest pick in the world.
Right, that's like I'm sitting there going, it's the 15th round. Why? Like, between him and Cody Bellinger, I trust Yelich to get healthier before Bellinger fixes his injuries and his holes in his swing.
Yeah, right? I was like, Bellinger was another guy I was looking at as well.
And Bellinger just went off the board to do her. So if it was
not Bellinger. So you're safe, Andrew. You're safe.
Not fired this round.
Not this time here, but I got to get my second baseman. It's a player who I love, who I think is, again, lock me up with the steals. Give me some Jazz Chisholm.
Oh, I love that guy. I have him on my keeper league, and I frankly forgot he was this far down on the board. I thought he had already gone.
It bums me out. Like I love him, but every time I mention him on air, I always screw up his name, and I always say Chaz Chisholm.
Not necessarily the best way to screw up that name.
Right? Every time I say Chaz Chisholm, it's like, oh, nope, sorry. Oops. Not. Used to get the phone calls from the program director. Howard Matt Deutsch here. Can't be saying Chisholm on the air all the time.
Giancarlo Stanton off the board.
Giancarlo.
So Dewhurst and I, whoever wins the healthy battle is going to win this 15th round pick here between Yelich and Bellinger.
Again, though, I mean, in a regular league, I don't know how because we're only starting 3 outfielders here, right? And there's no corner infielder, there's no middle infielder. It's just, you got the utility, but you only start 3 outfielders. It's tough to see those guys sitting there in the 15th round, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like, well, you're here. I feel bad for you. I'm going to take you because you've got big upside. Like if he can get back to first half of 2019 Yelich, then I just got myself a 6th rounder in the 15th round here.
Yeah, it's a total steal. It's a
Glasnow is
total
an
steal.
interesting pick at this point.
Oh, it's up to me. It's up to me. I think I'm gonna stay with the pitching here right now. Oh, where was he? Who was it? I saw him. Why does Colby Conway love Steven Matz so much? I don't understand that.
Because of a high strikeout rate.
Yeah, but he sucks. And the dude gets smacked around like incredibly.
Yeah, if Yanoa doesn't punch a locker, that guy's a great pick.
Thank you so much.
Punches a locker.
I love that you have to qualify that. If that dude doesn't punch a locker.
I mean, I'm just being factual, right?
He'll be amazing if he doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, where's Dewhurst going with this pick? Dewhurst. I gotta say it with such disdain.
He jacks the guy from me now because now he's on.
Has he been poaching your guys? He's been poaching mine all night.
I have to look back. I haven't figured out if he's poached one of mine yet or not.
I got Barrios,
Yep.
Grandal, Clevenger, and
Okay.
India for me so far. See,
I don't like any of the pitchers that are here right now, to be honest. So I'm going to go with a bench guy. I don't necessarily need him, but he might get multi-position eligibility, and he's got pure upside. And I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt?
Because if he winds up playing third base for the Royals, then he's got shortstop and third base eligibility and power speed combo.
I would hate to see them take no offense to your plan here, your master plan.
No, I wanted to play shortstop though, because that would be electric to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to see him moved off of his position like that. You don't need to do that. Not in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can't, bump Nicky Lopez, please.
Yeah, just put Merrifield back in the outfield, put Lopez at second base, have Mondesi play third base, and Witt at shortstop.
Right. And then when Mondesi gets hurt, then you I don't know what you do then.
Put
Dozier.
Yeah, move him from first to third.
Yep.
And then go call up. They got a couple of good first base prospects they could call up, like Nick Prado. They could call him up. So
very interesting.
If Hoskins finds a bat, he could play baseball.
Hoskins, I feel like Hoskins is turning into, I don't know.
He's like the next Ryan Howard.
The next Ryan Hallam?
Howard.
Oh, Ryan Howard. I was going to say, what does Ryan Hallam know about playing baseball? Come on. Ooh. Shout out to Ryan Hallam if he's watching. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, your job's about to get super tough with all these free agents signing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Injections on the hunt here.
Let's see. Who am I going to take a pitcher at this point?
I don't know, but these rankings, the ordering that they've got them in is kind of altered up a little bit here.
Yeah.
So you got to scroll down, and there's like some interesting names.
You know what? I'm going to take another closer here. I'm going to go with Will Smith.
Will Smith.
The other Will Smith.
The getting jiggy with it guy.
The one they made history in the Dodgers Braves series last postseason when Will Smith faced Will Smith. Pretty sure it's the first time in baseball history two dudes faced each other with the same name. And yet it was Will Smith.
And yet, right?
Ooh,
all right. So now, see, I'm looking through. I'm skimming through all the starters here, just seeing who's available, who's still out there. Who you like? I'm gonna go with what I heard in the rumor mill, in that the New York Mets are looking at Yusei Kikuchi. And if Kikuchi sits there with the Mets, could you imagine learning, like sitting there in between DeGrom and Scherzer, learning about pitching?
Yeah, seriously. Jeez. That's a very good tutorial.
Right?
Yeah, Tanner Houck. Austin Meadows in the middle of the 17th is a nice pickup there.
Right. He needs that batting average to pick up.
Yeah.
He's got to pick that up. I mean, I think it could have been a little bit more fluky than anything else, but because I love Austin Meadows. I really, really do. And, but last year was tough because, you'd sit there and you'd have him in, and I would look at him for like props and stuff like that, just because, trying to like ride a little bit of a hot streak with him before he like goes into one of those like 0 for 14s.
Oh man, that guy's way down there.
All right, where am I going with this next pick here? I think I still need an outfielder, and then it's just picking up my bench, huh?
Yeah, I still need a third baseman at this point, or a first baseman, depending on what I choose to do with Eduardo Escobar.
There's so many good outfielders left still.
I know.
This is great.
There are a ton of outfielders. I just found a dude that I wish I had found 4 rounds ago.
Oh man, let's see. Oh, it's on me. Oh, look, there's Seth Beer. I don't want Seth Beer.
No, but there can't be another prospect that benefited more from the NLDH being added than Seth Beer.
I know, right? I actually took him in the Great Fantasy in TGFBI.
Yeah, that's a good. When he was first drafted, I had no clue what the Astros. I didn't like him even being drafted with the Astros when they had the DH, because I didn't think the bat was that good. And then the bats improved, but I'm like, the defense is terrible. So I don't know what the Diamondbacks are doing with him. But now that he, can play DH, glove doesn't matter. So this guy is just going to be a bench dude, but it's completely unfair that he's still here.
Kelnick.
I mean, that's just disrespectful. Like,
is it though? I mean, are we really that worried about it?
He's gonna have full playing time. The bat's that good. So yeah, now I gotta go find like a third baseman and some more pitching depth. The question is, who am I taking for first or third here? There's some very interesting names still on the board. I'm not used to drafting in a 10-team league, so like the fact that I can still name everybody that's like 200 spots deep in the queue is pretty impressive. Hey, look, they even have retired guys in the queue.
Look, I got a text from somebody that Ranger Suarez does not have his visa and is unlikely to be ready for opening day.
Well, that's unfortunate. He went in the 9th round in this draft.
Right? It's unknown how long it may be before Suarez can travel to spring training, but this is one of those unfortunate side effects of the work stoppage. Visa issues are likely to impact several other players.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Who do I want at third base? Or do I like first baseman better? You know what? I'm going to take a shot that wasn't the last we've seen of Joey Votto.
Oh, yeah? Well, Joey Votto.
Going to take a shot on him at first base.
Okay. All right. Dustin May. Hey, coming back in the second. It's coming back in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, when he comes back, the Dodgers are going to need him in the rotation, right? Because that rotation's pretty thin.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they re-sign Kershaw, it's still pretty thin. So they're going to need all of that they can get. So where are you going here, Howard?
I'm looking for a player with some like good multi-position eligibility here. I think I'm just gonna go quick and easy here because it's the Rockies, and I'll just take Ryan McMahon and let him kind of fill in the blanks. Right? Might as well do that with steal a little offense here.
Yeah. I mean, when he's on the field, he produces. The question is, what are they gonna keep shuffling him and Brendan Rodgers and like two other dudes around, or
Well, but you've got McMahon, you've got Rodgers, and you've got Garrett Hampson.
right?
What else? Now that Trevor Story's not there and Nolan Arenado's not there, that's second, third, and short right there.
Yeah, I think Eloise Montero is going to come up reasonably quickly to play third base. But you could always put Hampson in the outfield too.
Right. Yep.
Free it up. It's just hard to get a read on how exactly they like to play these guys, which kind of has me off of them. Ooh, hey, a guy who may or may not have retired yesterday, depending on how you translate Spanish.
Nelson Cruz.
Yeah.
Nelly. Right?
Certainly looked like he said retired, and then he came out and was like, I did not retire. Kind of looks like it's that's what you said.
It's too funny. It's too funny. Yeah, I remember when people started talking about that. All right. What am I looking at here?
5 bench spots.
I think I'm going to go back to the mound. I'm going to go with somebody, a player who I don't normally go after. But I'll wait before these two guys pick before I actually mention who it is. We'll see. We shall see. What round are we in? Look at that. This shit's flying. Ooh, sorry. This stuff.
We're in the 20th round already.
That's crazy, right? This is going to be like the quickest draft. We're an hour into this, and that's it. I love it, man. I love it. Thank you, RTSports. Hey, by the way, everybody out there, you're watching and you're looking to, dive into some MLB, right? Now that the season's going to happen. fantasyalarm.com/MLB Pro. Use the promo code MLB Pro. Take 30% off. That's everything baseball. DFS, seasonal, draft guide, cheat sheet, rankings, tools, you name it, we got it. And there you can have it there. So fantasyalarm.com/MLB Pro. Promo code MLB Pro. All caps. So, guy, I just don't normally take a player like this. Not only is he, obviously with the Orioles, but it's a young pitcher. But come on, man. I mean, the electric arm, the stuff that he's got. Give me some Grayson Rodriguez.
That guy's got some filthy stuff.
Filthy.
It's
filthy.
Gross.
Yeah.
That should be the entirety of Rob Friedman's Twitter feed is Grayson Rodriguez throwing any pitch he wants to throw.
So good.
He's so good. And he may get a boost from moving left field back 30 feet because now it's like the deepest left field in baseball.
Right? Absolutely.
So those righty hitters are going to get I'm not feeling so great about the righty hitters in Baltimore this year.
Yeah, I'm not a big Mount Castle guy, so I'm not really that worried about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's obviously Gavin Lux.
That's a good pick, Gavin Lux.
Yeah. Let's see. Where am I going here?
I don't hate that pick.
I feel like I need some pitching depth, and I'm going to go with a guy who's now out of Colorado, and I'm going to go with John Gray, who, again, strikes guys out pretty nicely, and the biggest knock on him was that he pitched in Colorado. Now he's not in Colorado.
No, but if you look at John Gray's splits, he actually pitched better at home than he did on the road.
He did, but again, the issue I have with this for Colorado guys is that the altitude takes them longer to recover from when they go on road trips. than I think most people account for. So, hey, Nelson Cruz, hope he didn't retire. Um, so we'll see. I mean,
Or I hope he did retire.
yeah. He's a bench starter for me right now, so I'll take it. We'll see what happens. Is that Joe White from Minnesota? Nifty. We're getting into some very interesting names here. Marcelo.
Very interesting names. Wow, how the hell is he this far down also? I can't do this again, can I?
I don't think anybody wanted to take Marcelo Zuna.
I
mean, I'm not going to go into it, but
yeah.
Let's see. Where am I going to go next here?
Do you need stolen bases?
Um,
Actually, it's a points league, so it doesn't really matter.
And I think with Tucker and Turner and Marte and Willie Adem is interesting. I am going to go with.
On the edge of my seat.
I'm going to take a shot on Alex Cobb.
Ah.
I'm going to take a shot on him. I like the ballpark.
I just don't like the pitcher.
He had a rebound of a season. Oh, look at Andrew Dewhurst taking a Detroit Tigers prospect. How about that?
Right? What are you thinking, buddy? What are you thinking?
Oh, Gary Sanchez. If he could hit, that would be a great pick. Fortunately, he also doesn't play defense.
Where do I want to go? I mean, you know what? For our producer, John Impemba, right? I'm gonna go to the outfield and I'm gonna grab myself Alex Verdugo.
Oh, that guy has turned out to be better than I thought he would.
Right? Yeah, me too.
I'm willing to eat my words on that. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he's been. So him and Kike have been pretty good in Boston there.
Kike Hernandez.
Might be getting another bat if Seiya Suzuki signs there too.
Right.
Which would then kill my trade that I made for the keeper value in Jarren Duran because he'd then be out of a place to play. That would not be helpful for me. Plus, I also don't want to root against Seiya Suzuki because I like the guy's swing. But, Jesus, that guy is still there. God, this is See, there's a different kind of challenge in playing in 10-team leagues because everybody, craps on how everybody's loaded. But it's also tough to play in a league where everybody's loaded because the roster decisions become that much. Now, in best ball, obviously, there's no roster decisions. You let the computer figure out who had the better week, and then you get those points. But an actual league that you make weekly or daily transactions in, 10-team leagues are a different kind of animal with everybody being stacked because you're making roster decisions between two dudes who would be starting in any other league other than a 10-teamer.
100%. 100%. All right. Where am I going with this next pick?
Casey Mize. Interesting. Alex Kirilloff. Interesting.
I think okay. Yeah. So, all right. I got a guy who I'll go after in this one here. Comes up next. Feel pretty good about it. He seems to be kind of buried in the queue a little bit. Really good stuff. Had a good solid year last year. And while his team might not win a bunch of games, the ones that they do, he's definitely going to close for. So I'm going to go with David Bednar.
Nice. Yeah, I remember seeing bidding wars happen in TGFBI and some other leagues for Bednar when he became a thing last year. And his first few save opportunities did not did not go so well, but he turned it around.
You know what? That's all I care about. As long as they turn it around. Oh,
I feel like I
man.
still need pitching depth.
So I'm actually, look at that. I'm on the board I'm on the clock in another RTSports best ball. I had the number one pick. So I took Tatis. And now I have the option. I think I'm gonna double tap some starters here.
Oh, nice.
Right? Zach Wheeler.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna grab me some Sandy Alcantara. Big fan. Oh, and now I'm on the clock here. Oh no, that was your ding, right? Not mine.
I'm gonna go with Patrick Sandoval.
Sandoval doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but he definitely keeps the ratios in order.
Yeah, he's got a filthy changeup too. I think if he throws it a little bit more, he might up the strikeout numbers.
Oh, Mark Goodman took Josh Rojas from me.
He did.
Son of a
did.
Damn.
Nice
That's that. You want to talk about killer multi-position eligibility.
Oh, yeah, that guy plays everywhere but catcher and pitcher.
Oh, man. And he's got power. He's got speed.
Yeah.
Mark.
And he's never going to come out of the Diamondbacks lineup.
Mark. Damn it. That's a huge, huge bummer. That's a huge, huge bummer.
Ooh, almost.
He really did qualifies everywhere.
All right. So what am I going to do here? I don't really have very many multi-positional dudes on my bench here.
Oh, there you go. So take Wilmer Flores.
I'm going to go
Jurickson Profar?
No, I'm actually going to take
Hunter Dozier?
I'm going to take Cavan Biggio.
Oh. Yeah, I was talking to Jim about him a little bit today. He's kind of he was like when we do the front office insights for the draft guide, he gives a sleeper and a bust at the end of each one, and he actually put Biggio down as his sleeper, just hoping that he thinking that he's there's too good of a pedigree there to not have good plate discipline, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you get the 2019 Cavan Biggio, right, you're getting a very good Cavan Biggio. If you get the 2020 through 2021, not so great. But the other advantage is that he qualifies at third and outfield right now, and he's probably going back to his natural position of second base this year, based on how their roster is set up with Santiago Espinal playing third base. So that also adds another position to his position eligibility for me. So I'm going to take a risk and it's not even that big of a risk at this point with like 3 rounds left. I'm going to take a shot that Cavan Biggio can actually get back to 2019.
I like it. I like Akil Baddoo, just a good solid outfielder. Just back it up. Right.
Guy's got an outside shot at like 2020 if everything goes right.
He does. He definitely does. But I think I'm going to probably have to finish up with some pitching.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to tap some more pitching here coming up too.
Which way do I go?
There is one guy who is very interesting to me right now. I don't know if he's going to get back to me, but
you can tell me. I won't take it.
Yeah. You've had such good luck not saying names and still getting sniped. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to bring the mojo in here to getting sniped. But yeah, it's interesting because a couple of rounds ago, it seemed like there was a bunch. I mean, there's still a bunch of names, but it seems like the board has thinned pretty decently in the last couple of rounds.
Well, I was gonna say that's what happens.
I mean, we are 20-something rounds into it.
23 rounds into it. Round to wrap up round 23 here.
I feel like in round 17 we were still finding pretty good name players, and now, I mean, yeah, they're all, you should know everybody's name at this point, but in terms of fantasy value, we have definitely driven off the cliff. The one that says you should have bought a squirrel.
Oh, man. The starting pitching is definitely thinned out. There's still plenty of relievers out there who are good, solid possibilities.
We have a back-to-back Red Sox run here with Bobby Dahlbeck and Kike. I'm a little concerned with Bobby Dahlbeck's playing time.
They're going to bring up Cassis, right?
Yeah, he's going to play first base. Dahlbeck theoretically can play outfield in second, but you don't need him there, right? You've got Kike at second. So, Frank Schwindel. That's a sneaky good bat.
Not as sneaky as Hunter Green's arm.
The 102 mile an hour fastball is
gimme.
It's impressive. Jesus Luzardo. Interesting. Man. I'm gonna go with Jordan Montgomery.
I was looking at him. I was actually looking at him, and then I was trying to fill up my queue with some starters, and I saw Hunter Green. I was like, oh, okay. You're figuring if I didn't take Hunter Green and I waited on him, Dewhurst was going to obviously queue him up.
Probably with the way things have gone tonight. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, it's been.
I don't know. Should I take another catcher? I guess I should.
Oh, you grabbing a second catcher?
There's good ones still left, so yeah, I don't see why. There should be at this point, but yeah. Andrew Vaughn, congratulations! You now get to ride the Tony La Russa merry-go-round. Ugh. Is he going to throw that guy under the bus and then back over?
Is La Russa still managing over there, or did he die?
Unfortunately for your mean Mercedes, he did not die. Seiya Suzuki, O'Neal Cruz. That guy has a very interesting skill set. And I don't think he's going to wind up staying at shortstop, by the way. I think he gets moved to right field.
O'Neal Cruz, he's too big. He's not
6'7",
right? He's not adept enough. It's like, yeah, I'm going to put Troy Glaus at shortstop.
Yeah, right. I don't know. The dude's too big.
That 100% way too big.
And he's got a cannon for an arm, so just stick him in right field. And I'm gonna get a guy who I really like in Sean Murphy as my second catcher. I think he had a down year last year, but I think the bat plays, and he's still got pretty good pop. And the average isn't going to kill me in a points league. So
no. It's not, which is why I'm looking at the catcher who I'm looking at here, because I think he's got some pop, and I don't care about his batting average. But let's get some Joey Bart in there as my second catcher.
Interesting. I thought you were going to go with a different guy with power
behind the plate.
Yeah,
Alejandro Kirk, because we're both fat.
I was going to go with Eric Haas.
I would much rather have Alejandro Kirk because he looks just like me.
What is Toronto going to do with their catcher situation here at some point? Because they have Danny Jansen, they've got Alejandro Kirk,
and Reese McGuire.
Reese McGuire, and one of their other top prospects is another catcher who's arguably
Moreno.
Yeah, who's arguably more skilled than the three dudes on the major league roster. So
I'll tell you what. Toronto's got another problem also that they're going to need to address as well. With the exception of Reese McGuire and Kevon Biggio, everybody's right-handed.
That's true.
There's no lefty. They have no lefty bats.
Yep. We were, Colby and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that Kevin Biggio, even if you had another second base guy who could come up and play, I don't think Biggio loses at bats because he's the only lefty that's going to play regularly.
Crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy.
It's it's very right-handed. It's what the Yankees used to be 2 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
And that did not work out well for the Yankees 2 years ago.
No, it did not.
All right. So
All right. So I need another offensive guy. I need some multi-position eligibility, but I need especially to make sure that I cover third base. I don't have another guy who qualifies at third. Oh, I do. Ryan McMahon. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of guys who qualify at short, couple of guys who qualify at second, couple of guys who qualify at third, two guys behind the plate, extra first base, couple of outfielders. So I feel good about that. I definitely feel good about that. So maybe if I have all of that covered, maybe I lean maybe a little bit more towards. There's no pitching out there right now. I mean, nothing that I would like put my trust into.
Well, speaking of Eric Haas, went off the board a couple of picks after Joey Bart. Ooh, Michael Conforto was still there. Holy crap.
I'm going to go for multi-position eligibility again and get a little pop in there also. Patrick Wisdom finishes off my squad.
Very nice. I was hoping that you were not going to take the guy that I want, but now Dewhurst might take the guy that I want. And he did not. Fantastic.
Who'd you get?
As soon as I clicked the wrong thing, so here we go. We're gonna
right
plus instead of the player name.
You're like, yes, Tyler Naquin.
We're gonna go with Dylan Moore.
Dylan Moore, a little bit of speed, second base, outfield,
and third base, according to RTSports. So,
oh really?
I get second, third, outfield with some pop and some speed. And again, I don't care he didn't hit his weight last year because it doesn't hurt me in a points league.
All right. Well, look at that, baby. Draft nearly in the books. Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure. How do you like your team?
I like it quite a bit. I got a nice, starting early with the speed and power combo in the first few rounds really opened things up for me. I think my pitching is pretty solid here between Bieber, Flaherty, Cease, Kershaw, and Valdez. I don't think I'm going to have a problem there with starting pitching. I got myself a couple of, closers there that can be swept in and out who I don't think are going to lose their spots. So I might not rack up a bunch of points in the saves, but I'm going to have a bunch of strikeouts coming my way. So I think overall it's a pretty balanced roster. Yeah, on the bench I went a little young and with Witt and Kalinick, but hey man, those guys were still there for way too long. So and I'm a prospect writer, so why not trust my instincts?
Trust your instincts. Take the young kids.
Top 3 prospects.
All right. Matt Selz likes young boys. I mean, who play baseball in their rookie season. We'll go from there. All right. Well, fantastic stuff. Listen, we're going to be doing more of these best ball drafts as we move into spring training next week. Super exciting, and we got ourselves a full 162. So very much appreciate you all tuning in here and watching and hopefully learning a little something there. We're gonna say thank you very much to our illustrious producer John Impemba. For the Salesman, Matt Selz, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next